Hey guys, good morning, everybody. Today is Wednesday, October 4. It is 6:23 right now. Market's gonna open in about 7 minutes. So I'm gonna go ahead and set up this room real quick and we'll get started shortly. It's got a couple of things here to update. And we should be good to go. That's good. A few more things here. All right, looks like we are good to go. Let me get this link sent out to you guys here in the premium. Over. Looks like we are good to go. So, all right, I'll let people join in right now, and then we'll get started shortly. So, all right, as people start to make their way in, I'm going to go ahead and start marking up liquidity over here, since this is typically what takes up most of our time. So I'll start over here on the weekly. Go to this red. There. I'll go and color the normal liquidity blue. All right, going down to the daily time frame. Actually, that's blue. That's good. Going down to the 8-hour. Going down to the 4-hour. Good. Going down to the 2-hour. And going down to the 1-hour. Down to the 30. We got a lot of liquidity that's sitting here. So this liquidity probably won't get hit by today, but expect it to be hit like by the end of the week, like by NFP, it's probably going to come through. Yeah, we got a lot of liquidity that's just sitting around. But price hasn't really pushed that far yet to get to that point. All right, lastly, the 10-minute, and we are good to go. Yeah, we got a ton of liquidity here. It's all right, guys, back down to the 1 minute right here. If you guys are looking to take liquidity, the closest level is going to be down below over here and one above. So the one above is going to be at 33,297. This is going to be the closest liquidity for a buy, and closest liquidity for a sell is going to be down here at 33,182. All right, so that's going to be closest levels of liquidity. All right, so let's see who's here so far. Morning, everybody. Today is Wednesday, October 4th. It is 6:27 right now. Market's going to open in about 4 minutes. Let's see who's here so far. Morning, Ruin. Morning, Daniel. Morning, Kenny. Morning, Karen. Morning, Maria. Morning, everybody. Looks like majority of you guys are here so far. So looking at the main chart over here, we have a current sell signal. So if we get 2 red candles, that's going to be a sell for the breakout V2. If we get a buy signal and 2 red candles, that'll be an entry for a momentum counter scalp. If we get a sell signal with the red trend meter, it's going to be an intraday scalp. If we get a lower low or a higher high with the buy signal, then it'll be a high level momentum scalp on open. So let's take a look at the retail sentiment. Retail sentiment is currently 67% long right now. This indicates that 67% of retail traders are currently buying. So we typically want to do the opposite and sell. So that's currently 67% long. Looking over here at the fundamentals, they're currently up 33 points. So they're pretty much neutral. Looking over here at the short-term timeframes, they're pretty much mixed right now. So we're going to leave that at neutral. The lower time frames are still bearish. So with that said, I'm going to go ahead and put up the overall bias over here for now. Today's overall bias, we have retail sentiment, which is bearish. It's currently 67% short. We have fundamental bias, which is currently neutral, plus 30 points. We have short-term technicals, currently neutral, and we have long-term technicals, which is currently bearish. So this is today's overall bias right now. Currently, as I said, we have a sell signal right here. So if we get two red candles on open, that's going to be the breakout V2. If we get a buy signal right here, then it's going to be a buy. So we'll see what happens here when the market opens. We'll just have to wait and see. Let me check the market because I think there was news pre-market too. We have some crazy movement over here. Looking over here at the calendar. So we had news over here at 4 o'clock and 5:15. We have more news at 6:45, 7. We have the Fed speaking at 7, 7:30. We got a lot of news coming up. So 4 and 5:15, I'm going to go and mark that up. Here goes the opening candle, guys. So here is the opening candle. You guys can see it's moving kind of crazy right here. Mark up opening price right here too. All right, so price is climbing super heavy right here. No bias signal, just a huge green candle, which is very unusual. Okay, so we'll see what happens here, guys. I mean, I don't think I'll take the breakout today personally. I'll follow it and I'll document it, but I don't think I'll take the actual entry because you guys can see how crazy the market moved over here. We had news at 4 o'clock and 5:15. I'll go and mark that up over here so that you guys can see. So 4:15 over here was the initial news event. Didn't really move too much. And then we have another news event over here, which is at 5:15, which had this huge spike. So you guys can see this huge back and forth movement right here. It's, I would stay away from the market right now, guys. You guys can see there's no direction. Huge spike to the upside and a huge spike right back down. It's basically luring in a lot of people who are trying to chase this move, which is not good for people who are trying to take the breakout because obviously you guys can see there's no direction here. Price shot up about 500 pips and it came right back down 500 pips and now it's starting to swing back up. It's not really a good area to be trading in. So for me personally, I'll probably hold off and just wait for some momentum pullback scalps. I'll wait for the market to stabilize a little bit, and then I'll look for those entries because those entries are typically like the safest ones to take. They work in all market conditions. We typically wait for the market to kind of slow down a bit. You guys can see the ATR right now is not even high. ATR is currently at 17 right now. So it's not even in the 20s yet. So I would just be careful, guys, if you guys are looking at, if the breakout V2 does come up, I will mark up the entry, but I'm personally not going to take it. So we currently have a buy signal right here. If we get two green candles, that's technically going to be the entry for the breakout V2. But again, you got to be smart in a market like this. I talked about this yesterday and the day before that. This is NFP week. So it's NFP week, first of the month, first fall trading season too. There's so many red flags here to be careful about because the volatility is changing so erratically. Like yesterday, the ATR was at like 30, right? It was so high compared to today. Today's at 18. So, but it is moving pretty crazy. So you want to be a little careful with your entry here. So we're just going to sit tight, guys. And if the entries do come up, I'll mark them up. However, I'm already giving you guys a heads up now. I'm not going to be taking the breakout V2 because of this movement here. It's just moving a little too much right now. All right, if we get a second green candle here, then this will technically be the entry for the breakout V2. I'll mark it up for you guys, but again, I'm not planning on taking it. Looking over here, liquidity still hasn't gotten hit. 2 levels of liquidity still sitting right there, waiting for price to get to that point. But yeah, the liquidity here has not gotten hit yet. So I'll just move this over a little bit. So if the breakout V2 comes up for a buy, it's probably going to try and reach the liquidity up here. If it comes up, it's not really looking like it right now, but we still have 15 seconds left on this candle. That's a lot of time. It's enough time for price to swing up and provide a green candle right there. So if there's 2 green candles there, that's going to be the breakout V2. Again, I'm just going to mark it up for you guys. I'm not planning on taking it. It's just too risky for me to want to enter this into this position. So there goes a breakout V2 right here, guys. It's currently running right now in profit. I didn't feel comfortable taking it, so I didn't take a position, but I am documenting this strategy for our spreadsheet. So I'm not in this position, guys. This is just for documentation purposes for our spreadsheet. You know, I think it'll probably hit because, like I mentioned right here, if it continues to climb, it's going to go and try to reach this area of liquidity here. So if you guys ever look for entries and they're like big entries, typically they're going to try to reach the area of liquidity. The only problem here is that there's liquidity down here too. It's not just up there, right? So that's why it was a little tricky for me. If we didn't have this lower liquidity, then I would have been kind of more comfortable taking the buy here because this would be the only area for it to reach, right? But it's not. There's 2 areas for it to reach here. There's liquidity above and liquidity below. So I'm not in the breakout V2. We are following it, but you know, we'll see where this ends up going. And I'll take a look at the momentum counter scalp right after, because if we get 2 red candles, then that's going to be the momentum counter scalp. So right here, this is kind of where they're starting to fluctuate a little bit. If you get a second red candle here, this is going to be the momentum counter scalp. There can't be a sell signal there, but this is technically, and right there, that's exactly why I didn't want to take the trade. So good thing we decided to skip this trade. You guys can see how risky it is right now. It's kind of going back and forth. If this candle here closes 2 red candles with no momentum signal, that's going to be the momentum counter scalp. If it doesn't come up, then there's no entry for today. So let me go ahead and start marking up the spreadsheet over here. Or I won't mark it up, but I'll just put this here. You know what I should do here is I should just make a long list of extras here because we don't really. It's just easier that way, so I don't have to keep updating it. Anyways, we won't put this right here. And I'll just update this later. There's no need to update it right now. Okay, so right here's the momentum counter scalp, guys. If you guys look to take it, again, it's a super messy move. I'm not planning on taking any of these right now. I'm only looking to take the only trade I'm looking to take is the momentum pullback scalp. So I'm just, we're documenting these for the spreadsheets. This right here is currently the momentum counter scalp. I'm not in the position. I'm just following it right here so we can document it. We had a buy signal here, 2 red candles. This is the opposite direction. And this is now the momentum counter scalp that is currently running. Not in the position, but we'll follow it and we'll see where it goes. And then we'll document it as well. Yeah, C6 said great call. It would have been horrible. Definitely just sitting on hands. Yeah, I'm just going to wait for a bit, guys. You probably want to wait for the market to stabilize a little bit. You can see how it's just going back and forth. It's basically wiping people out on both sides. So I wouldn't recommend hopping into any positions right now. You know, we'll have to take a note of this as well, that the market's moving like super erratic on open. I didn't take any of these positions, so I'm not in anything right now. And again, right there, another fake out, didn't play out. So this is the key thing that I was warning you guys about the other day. I mentioned, you know, the key thing about trading is really understanding when not to trade. A lot of people can't get that down. And that's probably like the hardest thing for majority of people. But I think if you guys are here on this live session with me, it definitely helps, because when I'm not entering a position and I'm giving you guys these warnings not to take the trades, you guys aren't here just entering random trades, right? Because obviously you guys can see it's pretty crazy how it's moving. Let me just update this real quick. So we had, today's the 4th, 10/4/23. This entry came up pretty early, around like 6:33. It was for a, I believe it was for a buy. It was a loss, -250. And the momentum counter scalp over here as well. 10/4/23. The entry came up at like, let's estimate 6:36. It was for a sell, loss 250. All right. I mean, the win rate is still pretty great for the momentum counter scalp and the breakout V2. It's just those entries there. They kind of started bouncing around. So looking over here again, guys, and I'll put the note there as well so that we remember. Extreme movement, pre-market, and prior to entry. So I keep notes here so that we understand, like in the future, like, okay, if the market's moving kind of crazy pre-market, then just don't mess with it, don't take a trade, right? And that's exactly what happened here. Gonna update this right here as well. All right, so back to the charts over here. There's no other entries here that I can see. Yeah, there's nothing else that's come up yet. Yeah, exactly. William said, what a great day not to trade at the moment. Let them wipe each other out while we sit here and watch. Yeah, that's literally what what we're waiting for. Yeah, FF has said every day this week has been pretty erratic at the open. Yeah, I agree, FF. That's why I haven't really taken any trades on open. There's a lot of reasons for it. For one, I think they released interest rates last night. I don't know if they did. I think they released mortgage rates last night, or was it this morning? I can't remember. But I did see it on CNBC. They did report the interest rates for, yeah, right here, the mortgage application. So the mortgage interest rates are like up to 8% now, I think, or like it's close to 8%. It's like 7.53, but pretty much the average is 8%, which is pretty high. So a lot of people aren't buying houses right now because it costs too much to buy a house. Also, it's NFP. Also, it's like the first official week of like fall, or like first official month of fall. So there's a lot of factors in here. The fall season is bringing a lot of volatility back into the market. It's NFP, interest rates news is coming up. I think Powell spoke yesterday or the day before that. And they're supposed to be increasing interest rates this month or next month. I think they're going to increase it this month because they did guarantee it was going to be increased by the end of the year. So it's either going to happen in October or November. It's probably not going to happen in December because they usually don't do stuff like that during Christmas or during the holidays. So I think with all that stuff going on, it just causes a lot of erratic movement in the market. Let's see, the news at 5:15 caused a huge spike. It was the ADP employment change. So this right here was super negative, but you can see how price spiked up. So it actually did the opposite, and then it just corrected down right here at around 6 o'clock. So I think price will probably be bearish today. I mean, depending on how the other news events come out later. So we have ISM. Okay, so depending on these news events right here, I think if the 6:45 news event is negative, I think price will eventually come down today. I think price will be bearish. It might be manipulated to the upside, but then eventually it'll come back down. So we have news at 6:45, 7. We have a lot of news today, 6:45, 7, and 7:30. And then the Fed speaking right here at 7:05, Fed Schmidt, 6:45, 7, 7:30. Let me mark that up. I don't want to make sure you guys don't get caught in anything here, of course. $6:45, 7, and 7:30. That's just a lot of news today. All right, so we'll see if this here starts to like smoothen out a bit, but and also the government shutdown. So if you guys remember the government shutdown that they were discussing over the weekend, they passed a small bill to pretty much extend the government. So there's just a lot of things that happened, a lot of stuff that happened over the weekend, a lot of stuff that's happening this week, a lot of stuff that's happening this month in general. I think the volatility is going to be pretty crazy until it starts to smoothen out, probably say by next week or the week after that, because we're officially going into the fall season. And also CSUK mentioned the start of Q4. Yeah, there's a lot of factors to put into it, but I think for the most part, we don't really let that stuff affect us too much. It's really just looking at these specific entries here. So here goes the intraday scalp, guys. Again, I'm not going to take this position, but I'll follow it. The ATR is currently 22, so we'll see where this ends up going. This right here is the intraday scalp entry. So I'm just marking up these entries, guys, because we're putting this into our spreadsheet. Again, I'm not in this position. I don't recommend anybody enter it because we have news right here at 6:45. It's currently 6:43 right now, so 2 minutes till news. And we'll see where this ends up going. So I'm going to go put that in the notes. It's entry scalp, erratic movement, pre-market, and prior to entry plus high impact news coming. Whoops. Put that down here. All right. So we have the entry right here running. I'm not in this position, guys. Again, just another heads up. I want to make sure nobody's hopping into these positions. We're just documenting these for sorry, I'm getting a cold. We're documenting these for the spreadsheet. But we have news right here at 6:45. We'll see what that news event looks like. Yeah, it's high impact. It's a S&P Global Services PMI and S&P Global Composite PMI. So definitely not time I want to trade in, but we'll document this and see how it plays through. I'm basically doing a raw back test or a raw forward test of the strategies. So I don't care if there's news or anything really going on. I'm just documenting every single trade so that we can see how they're working. And then as we move forward into the fall season, we can determine which ones we want to stick with. So this one right here is still currently running. We have news coming up in about 5 seconds. Looks like it's probably going to come down and spike to TP and then maybe spike back up. So here goes the news event right here. I'm going to mark that up. Take this off. And let's see what it was. So it was mixed. Global services was negative. Global composite was positive. So it was a mixed bag right there. We'll see what happens. And it looks like the intraday scalp is probably going to play through, or I don't know. We'll see. It's still bouncing around. It hasn't hit the full TP just yet. So we'll see what happens here. Let's go back to the liquidity. It's getting close to liquidity over here. So if anybody's looking to take liquidity, I think this will hit. Yeah, it looks like it already hit. So this was going in the direction of liquidity. Price is now reaching liquidity right there. So whenever you guys are looking to take an entry, you can probably look at it to see, okay, if it's close to liquidity, it's probably going to push a little bit farther to reach its TP. And there goes the intraday scalp. So intraday scalp right here, 1. I'll put that in the documentation spreadsheet as well. That was for 220 pips. That was for a win. So entry came up at 6:43. On today's date, 10/4/23. Okay, so out of the strategies that we are documenting and testing right now, 2 of them lost today, 1 of them won. We have one other one that we're still technically testing, which is the high level momentum scalp. After that, we'll see if there's anything else for us to look at. But the main strategy that we're looking for would be the momentum pullback scalp. So yeah, Vince also identified a V1 variation right here. I'm not sure if anybody caught that. There was a double body rejection right there, pending sell signal, and went straight to TP. So there's a lot of confluences right there for the sell. And we pretty much identified that it was probably going to, continue coming down, because I mentioned earlier that the news was negative at 5:15. Price didn't really come down yet. Price kind of manipulated to the upside, and then it came down right here. And eventually I thought the correction was going to continue pushing to the downside. So, I mean, if you took any of those entries, great. If not, it's completely fine, guys. I haven't taken any entries myself. What I'm going to do here now is I'm going to start marking up the levels. So let's start marking up these levels over here so that we can start looking for a possible momentum pullback scalp. All right, we got a ton of levels right here. There goes liquidity, guys. If you guys got it, it literally just went down, tapped TP, and came right back up. So if you guys caught liquidity right there, there's another full TP right there if you guys are applying this strategy. So this hit, the intraday scalp hit. I think the only other one that we're looking for here would be the high-low momentum scalp. If this here closes with a buy signal, this will technically be, or if it closes with a buy signal and above here. However, I think the candle's too big. Yeah, it's way too big. So you wouldn't have taken that one if it did, come up. So we're now looking for, let's see. We are now looking for price to provide opportunity. So the momentum pullback scalp can still come up right here, guys. There's a pending buy signal right here. It just needs to break and close past pivots 1 and 2. There's a lower low right here. If we get a buy signal that breaks past pivots 1 and 2 here, which hasn't happened yet, this will technically be the high-low momentum scalp. ATR is currently 23 right now. So if you guys are looking to take that, that's going to be the opportunity for you. What I'm personally looking for here is I'm looking for the buy signal to come up so that we can have a setup for our momentum pullback scalp. I'm not really too interested in taking, or actually, I mean, we can still take it here. It hasn't came up yet. So there's 2 different entries that are setting up right here. There's a momentum pullback scalp that can possibly come up right here. So we had a sell signal right here. Obviously, the trend's bearish. Price came down. Price retraced right here. So the entry would technically be right here at the 10 mark if you're looking to take the momentum pullback scalp. Yeah, so I mean, technically it's still available right now if you're looking to take it. Right now, the ATR is currently 22, so it's not horribly bad. The only problem here is that, so we had news over here at 645. It's pretty close. We haven't really seen price react to it yet. So news happened right here at 645, and then it kind of just went back and forth. So it's going to be tough right here to look for an entry because we're getting news again right here. But so again, we need to look for another retracement. Yeah, Patricia said news in 10 minutes. There's just too much stuff going on. There's news right here at 6 o'clock, at 7 o'clock, and then 7:30. And then the Fed's going to start speaking at 7 o'clock too. So just be really careful with your entries, guys. If you guys don't feel comfortable with it, then just don't take it, right? If you feel confident and you think it's going to hit, then take the trade. If it lines up with your analysis, lines up with my analysis, then it's probably going to be a decent trade. But you just want to be careful because the Fed's going to be speaking right now at 7 o'clock as well. Yes, we have factory orders, ISM services, inflation news right here, ISM services, PMI, employment services, etc. And then we have Fed Schmidt speaking at 7:05. So there's just a lot of stuff going on right now from now until 8 o'clock. That wouldn't really matter because there's no entry that came up here. So you'd have to look for another retracement. And again, I'm just going to sit tight, guys. I'm going to sit tight. If I see something good here, I'll tell you if I'm taking it. But I'll need to fully analyze it first because I'm not here to take anything too risky. I want to take stuff that I know for sure is going to hit. All right. So we got price over here pulling back up. I mean, technically the entry could have happened right here, guys. If you guys are looking to take the momentum pullback scalp, I totally missed it, but price pulled back right here and this would have been the entry. I don't really feel comfortable trading right now, though. I want to wait for another momentum signal or wait for the news here to pass. Yeah, exactly. Maddie said he's going to wait for a new momentum signal to come up. So technically, if you guys wanted to take the entry, this would technically be the entry right here if you wanted a momentum pullback scalp. I'll follow it here, but again, I'm not in the position. As I mentioned before, this is just a risky area to be trading in because price hasn't reacted to news yet. News happened right here at 6:45. It was mixed news over here. It was positive and negative. And you didn't really have much of a reaction. I mean, price came down slightly, came back up, and then it came back down. You kind of want to let it breathe a little bit because the last thing you want to do is enter a trade and then price starts to spike in either direction, either to the downside or either to the upside. It's just very unpredictable. So we'll see over here if it comes through. I mean, it's still running. And again, this is like very unusual for not to just hit TP already because the ATR is very high. It's currently at 22. So this should have just like, it should have tipped it. I mean, it basically did tip it right there. It should have tipped it and then went straight to TP. Or if it went up, then it would go up. But the ATR is very high and it looks like the volatility here is starting to die down quite a bit. This candle right here, I mean, the body's only 30 points or 3 points. This body right here is like 16. Again, I'm not in this position, guys. I was just marking it up for you guys to show you where the momentum pullback scalp would have shown up. And the trade's still running. It's going back and forth. There's no real direction right now. It's kind of just ranging and consolidating. So if you guys are in the position, if the buy signal closes, you have to pull out. Of course, you guys know that by now. And that gives you the opportunity to pull out for a smaller loss. So I'm not in this position, guys. I'm just going to take this off. I don't want you guys to think that I'm in it. And then hop into this trade late. So we're waiting for another momentum signal. We didn't want to enter right here because so much happened between this period. The sell signal came up and then we had obviously this, irregular movement. And then we had a news event right here at 6:45. Again, right here, we have another news event at 7. So again, it's just going to be a waiting game until we get into like some smoother, stabilized price movement. So I'll probably hold off between this area again right here, maybe like the first 5 or 10 minutes, or maybe 10 minutes or so for the market to stabilize after the news event. And then maybe hopefully get something in between here. If we don't get something in between here, we'll just wait till after 7:30. There's just no need to force anything right now because of, obviously the obvious price movement here. Let's see, Michael's asking, what's your thoughts on risk to reward and negative risk to reward? I mean, it doesn't really matter. I mean, it does matter, but it also doesn't. So it depends on your strategy. Does your strategy work well with a positive, like big risk reward, or does it work well with a negative risk reward, right? There's not one way to trade. So like whatever my opinion is, doesn't matter. It depends on your strategy. So if your strategy requires that you have a negative risk to reward, like if you have a strategy that has a low win rate, like if you win maybe 30% of the time, then you have to have a very good risk to reward, right? If you have a high win rate, then you could have a negative risk to reward. Like for example, if you look at and it's okay, guys, we're not missing any trades here. We have news coming up in about 5 minutes, so we don't have anything to take. But it's going back to like what Michael was asking. For me, we trade with a negative risk reward to a 1-to-1 risk reward. You guys see all my trades here are documented from January up until today, October 4th. I have an 88% win rate, 92% win rate for February, 87% win rate for March. And these are all documented trades on these live sessions. I don't need to have a crazy win, like a risk to reward. I have a negative risk to reward here. It might be a 2-to-1, even sometimes a 2.5-to-1, but I win almost every trade. So it doesn't really matter for me personally, because I have a high win rate. If you have a low win rate and you just like suck at winning, like you just don't win very often, then yeah, you would have to have a different risk to reward because you won't have like this same type of success, right, with trading. So like you can see over here, I have everything documented. If you go to the Discord, just go to the Discord, go to Trading Journal for 2023, click on the spreadsheet. This is a spreadsheet. Every trade I've taken has documented. It's documented here on TradingView. So if you want to go back and look, these were all documented real time as soon as we took the trade. For the year so far, so for the year of 2023, I currently have 173 wins, only 25 losses, total profit of 25,000 pips, total trades of 198 trades, and a total win-loss ratio of 87.3. So having a high win-loss ratio, you can have a negative risk reward. But if your win-loss ratio is like below 50%, obviously you're going to have a better risk reward. If you're above 50%, like if you're in the 60% range, you can do a 1-to-1 because you'll still be in profit. But if you have a very high win rate, then negative risk reward doesn't really matter. Your focus is on winning. And I think that's our main focus here, which differs us from a lot of other people. Like our main focus here is really just winning. And that's our goal here. That's why I'm very selective about the entries I take. I didn't take any of the entries today, even though they did come up. So for example, we're testing these other strategies, the momentum counter scalp. It was currently on a 4-win streak, and then had 1 loss today. But you can see over here, even with the negative risk to reward, the total profits on this, we have 23 wins and 5 losses, total profit of 1,000 pips, total win-loss ratio of 82.14% win rate. The breakout V2 has a 1-to-1 risk to reward ratio. This right here is a 53.3% win rate, still in profit, right? Same with these over here. They're still in profit, 60% win rate. This one over here has a 1-to-1. So it just depends on like your trading style. Yeah. So it just depends on you, Michael. I mean, if you like, if the way that you trade has a negative, like has a low win rate, then, you know, you have to have a high risk reward. So it doesn't matter per se, but it matters depending on your trading style and your the types of trades that you're taking. But typically for us here, we're usually at a 1-to-1. If not a 1-to-1, we're like at a 2.5 or 2-to-1. Yeah, but our main focus is really just winning. So it balances out for our trading style. All right, guys, we got news coming up right here. Don't worry, guys. I know I was explaining some stuff, but there's nothing for us to take here anyways. We have news coming up right here at 7 o'clock. The Fed's going to speak at 7:05, so hopefully it doesn't affect the market too much, but we'll just have to be very cautious with what we decide to take. Let me check the news for today and see if there's anything else that we have Fed member Goolsbee speaking later today at night. So the Fed's going to speak again later tonight. Or actually, no, this is later today. Sorry. So at 7:05 we had Fed Schmidt speaking, and then at 7:30 we have Fed Goolsbee, and then at 8:25 we have Fed Bowman. So we just have a lot of news events today coming up. Let's see. So we got news event right here at 7 o'clock. Let's see how price is moving to it. I'm going to go and mark up news. There, color that pink. So we got news right there. Let's check news. News hasn't come out yet. It's still pending. So the high impact news was neutral. That's pretty much exactly what they predicted it to be. I mean, we'll see what happens here with the other news events. I don't think it really matters though. I don't think this stuff will really matter too much because the high impact stuff already came out. Let me refresh it. All right, so it's pretty mixed. So we have ISM services employment, it was negative. ISM services new orders negative, prices negative or positive. It was a mix. So we'll just see how price reacts to it. There's not really we can't really determine if it's going to be manipulated or not because it's both ways. So we can't see if price goes opposite and then we corrects back to where it's supposed to go. It's just going to go where it needs to go. So, all right, we currently have the sell signal right here. We'll see if we can find a momentum pullback scalp. The only problem here is that, like, you guys can see how price is currently moving now. You know, this is really unusual because, or I mean, it's not really that unusual, but it is a little unusual because the ETR is so high. It's at 26, but there's not really much direction here. It's kind of just ranging between this area. So what I'm going to do first is I'll go over here and I'll mark up our clean chart. So our clean chart here will give you a better understanding into like where price is actually moving. So let's go here from 6:30, 8 o'clock, and then I'll start marking up structure over here so that I mean, it wouldn't really matter what market structure because price is kind of just bouncing all over the place. All right, so here we go. You guys can see price is starting to now kind of dump down a little bit, but it's not really moving too. I mean, there's a lot of fake outs happening. Obviously, the news event just happened right there. Price is starting to dump down a bit. There may be a setup here for a momentum pullback scalp. The only problem here is that a lot of this movement's based off the news. So again, we might have to just wait for the next momentum signal. I was hoping we'd have that buy signal and price would just continue climbing and then it would move back down. But right now, you know, we have this setup over here that's kind of playing through. Let's see, Michael said he's scaling in a lot of positions in certain areas and taking 10 pip wins a lot. So I managed to get like 200 to 400 positions in a session. That's pretty crazy, Michael. That's a lot of positions, 200 to 400 positions. Yeah, Michael said it so far it's going really well, but don't want to do stuff that's impossible or just luck. Yeah, no. That's a lot of positions, 200 entries to 400 entries. I think so. I know the style of trading that because I used to trade that way too before. What I can say is that style of trading is it's fun while it works, but when it doesn't work, make sure that you have a stop in place. Like you have an area where you know for sure you're going to get out of the position, because if you don't, you can easily just blow your account with like one day that doesn't necessarily work very well. A lot of those areas too, like the areas where you might see a balance, like a support resistance, they usually don't hold for too long either. So, just a heads up. I know you're testing it out, and it's better to do it that way. You're better to make your mistakes and then you learn from them versus me kind of telling you like it doesn't work, because it does work. It's an extremely risky way to trade. I used to trade that way a long time ago. I used to play around with it. All right, yeah, there's a momentum pullback scalp that's currently running right now, guys. Again, I didn't feel comfortable taking it, so I didn't take it. But again, let me just explain the strategy. So we had a sell signal right here. Price came down. This green candle right here pulled back. The entry right here would be at the 50 mark. So this right here would be a momentum pullback scalp. Right over here. So the entry would have happened at this level because this green candle closed right below that black line. Looks like it's going to hit, but again, I didn't feel comfortable taking it. I was watching the green candle here, but I wasn't sure if it was going to close below or above the black line. So that's why I personally don't want to take it. Whenever we have an iffy entry like this, where it's like you're not sure if it's closing below or above, I typically like to just wait for it to pull back to a higher level. And if you guys pull back to the higher level over here, you would have hit your TP if you waited for that to happen. Otherwise, the actual entry would have happened like right there, but it was super close, Daniel, like you mentioned. It didn't look like it filled. I mean, technically it would have filled now if you waited for the next level. But yeah, it's not really a good entry here. You can see how the market's not really moving. It should just be moving very directional, because the ATR is high and you kind of have a direction already. And it looks like it's probably going to hit, but yeah, so it hit right there. If you guys took it, great work. I didn't take that trade right there. I was thinking about taking it, but like I mentioned, this green candle right here wasn't very clear about how it was going to play through. So it depends on like where you guys entered. If you entered from down here, it would have hit your TP. If you entered from up here, it still would have hit your TP. So yeah, however you guys wanted to play it. I mean, it played out pretty nice right there. And yeah, full TP. So again, guys, the only trades that I'm counting here are the ones that I'm taking. So the trades that they're still hitting, but I'm not counting them as my entries, because you can see over here from my spreadsheet, I have no entries for today. Right? I took 2 entries yesterday, haven't taken any entries today. So just waiting, because the spread's kind of wide right now. So I'm looking at FTMO spreads currently at 190. Yeah, Nathan said he had to close out manually. Yeah, so guys, when the trade hits TP, you have to pull out manually. Okay, just don't get greedy. When it hits your TP on TradingView, close it out on MT4, because the spread right now is very variable right now. On FTMO, it's currently at 190. I saw it earlier today. It was at 170, 180. It's not a huge difference, but it is kind of wide compared to what we're used to. Usually like 140, 160 is like the norm. Right now, it's currently at 190, so you might get caught in the spread, because you got to cover the spread entering the position and you have to cover the spread exiting. So when you come in, you're already at a negative, and when you come out, you're already going to be short of your entry or short of your exit. So, all right, other than that, we'll see what's next. 7:07 right now, so I think Fed Schmidt is now speaking. I don't know if there's a link for it. I mean, it doesn't matter. He's going to speak, so whatever happens, happens. We can't really control it. We'll just see if we can maybe find something to get into while he's speaking. All right, it's currently at 66% long now. So we're just going to shift the, what happened to my thing? Oh, there we go. All right, it just changed a little bit. So it's 66% long. It's still bearish right now. Looking over here at the fundamentals, they should be down pretty heavy. Refresh. They're down 70 points. They're not down super heavy, but they are pretty much bearish neutral right now. Or we'll just leave it at neutral until it gets down to 100 points. Short-term technicals should be bearish now. Yeah, they're back to bearish. All right, man, this messy market for NFP. I mean, this is pretty much normal, guys. So like, I know we're getting some crazy movements here and it might seem like this is unusual, but this is NFP week. NFP week's usually either really boring or it's like really crazy. So, I mean, how long have we been trading, guys? We've been trading live for like over 7 years now, right? So 7 times, let's see, and NFP happens once a month. So we've done this, we've been through this, let's see, 12 times 7. So I've traded 84 NFP weeks with you guys, or maybe more than that. So this here is like, it's normal for us. Like if you're not a trader who trades every single day or trades every single week or every month or so, you know, this might be kind of scary for you guys because you're like, okay, like, what do I do in this situation? But for us, we've been trading for so long every day, like on these live sessions, that we've seen these patterns play out, like at least another NFP at some point in the past. You know, if you guys ever want to go back and review any of these old NFPs, and like what Sisu said, yeah, he remembers earlier we struggled because we weren't familiar with like this type of movement. But if you guys are ever curious to see like, okay, what was NFP like last month, right, in September, just go to our YouTube channel. So go to our website, kodikaitrades.com, click on get free access to live trading right here on YouTube. Our YouTube channel is youtube.com/kodikaitrades. If you go over here to live trading sessions, you can see here where I have over 745 live trading sessions. So if you want to go back to see September, just go to the first week of September, right? I think the first week of September was right here. I don't remember what day was, what day was NFP, but if you click on like September 1st, you can just review NFP from September. If you want to see August, go to August 1st. If you guys are ever curious, because the thing is, if you really like trading and you want to get really good at trading, you have to like really study these patterns because these patterns repeat themselves. So, you know, if you trade this enough times, you're going to know that, okay, this is probably a good time to just sit out the market. Because trust me, you know, we've lost trades in the beginning. Like if you look at my spreadsheet over here, so just look in the beginning, like right here, for example, August 3rd, right, Thursday, this was NFP week. I lost a trade there for momentum pullback scalp. I didn't really have notes on it, but you can see here that I'm usually pretty careful for NFP. If you look at my stats here, first week of every month, I'm either doing really well or there's just no trades. Like for example, here for March, right, I had like no trades NFP. I skipped like that whole month, that whole week basically. But for the most part, I'm pretty good. The only month that I didn't do well during NFP was in August. And that was probably because I took a dumb trade. Let's take a look at the trade I took. Yeah. So I took a dumb trade right there. You can see the crazy movement right here. Same thing. If you look at the chart today, this actually looks just like today's chart. Look at the chart today. And look at the chart from August. See how crazy it was? Same thing. And I took a dumb trade right there, right? Obviously, this candle here was huge. Probably should have held off a little bit. And then I ended up getting caught in that trade. So, you know, it's all repetition, guys. If you guys do the same thing every single day and you just keep getting better every single day, you're going to get better at that, right? And that's why we're so disciplined and consistent with our trading, because it's just a rinse and repeat process of like what we did last month. So I'm just doing the same thing I did the first week of September, but I'm doing it in October now. Yeah. So, I mean, you know, I have so much data here for you guys to look at. I have all of the trades. I have all of the live sessions. There's so much information here for you guys to go back and review. You know, if you really want to get good at trading, just figure out how the market moves and you'll see these patterns just repeat themselves over and over and over again. That's why I like the momentum pullback scalp, because that strategy, it doesn't require that you have some sort of bias. A lot of the strategies in the past require a bias, like the V1 variation. That's like Vince's favorite strategy. It plays very well if there's an overall bias, but the overall bias isn't always going to be there. Like during the summer, it was like obsolete. There was no bias during the entire summer. But now we're going back into the fall season, so the bias is not going to be in place. So, all right, we currently have a buy signal right here that's pending. I'm hoping we can get an entry here before 7:30 because at 7:30 we have another news event. So 7:30 over here, we have, I mean, it's not anything crazy. It's more so like gas stocks, but we underestimated gas stocks one time in August, I think. I took a trade during the gas stock news and it went complete opposite. So I'm going to be a little careful with the gas stock news once it comes up over here at 7:30. We also have the next Fed speaker speaking at 7:30 as well, which is Fed Goolsbee. Goolsbee and Bowman are actually, they're more common speakers. I actually never heard of Schmidt speak before. The first time I saw Schmidt on the on the calendar. All right. So we're looking for a sell signal here, guys. Actually, sorry, I just noticed that this is a high-low momentum scalp. I don't know if anybody caught it or if anybody's taking it. I know Daniel likes to take this trade. I'm not sure if you took the high-low momentum scalp right there, David. I know you usually go for 100 pips, but it's still technically running. The ATR right now is currently at 26. So I'm not in the position, but there is a high-low momentum scalp here. I need to document this for the spreadsheet. Yeah, Daniel said he took it when it pulled back and discount and already hit. Nice. So you got him when it pulled back a little bit. And then he already went straight to his TP. All right, I'm not in this position, guys. I typically don't like trading against a trend. So like, for example, I wouldn't have taken this trade here because it's like so far against the trend. If we had it for a sell, I probably would have taken it. But since it's against the trend, I know the trend is not required for that strategy. But for me personally, I like trading in the direction of the trend. My style of trading is momentum trend trading. So I do trade momentum, but I like trading the direction of the trend. Yeah, exactly. William said a trend is the friend. Yeah, it's the friend till it ends, right? And then you catch that shift to the other side. All right, so I'm just going to document this, guys. I didn't take the trade. I'm just documenting it for the spreadsheet. You know what? I don't think there is. Let me see. So this one right here, I think the candle is too big, so obviously you can take it. Let me measure this candle real quick. No, this would have met criteria. So I'm going to put this in the results just so that we, like, I want to do I'm doing a raw forward test on this guy. So I don't really care too much about like if it's profitable or not. I just want to make sure that it's profitable before I start like really taking it. So this entry came up at like 614. I'm just going to estimate it was a buy, loss. I don't think these stats are proper. Yeah, so the high-low momentum scalp is currently at a 50% win rate. That's not great, but it's also not horrible. It's still at a 50 because it's just going through a dry spell right now. As you guys can see, it's on a losing streak. I haven't taken any of the entries. I had 3 losses right here, no entry on the second, 2 losses right here. Looking over here at the intraday scalp's doing a lot better. I mean, it's still not great, but it's still doing better than the high-low momentum scalp. The high-low momentum scalp is a tricky strategy. It's good when it's trending, or the high-low momentum scalp is good when the market's ranging. So in the summer, it was actually very, very profitable for the people who are applying it. The intraday scalp over here is in the direction of trend. You can see it has a 63% win rate. So if you're taking this strategy, it's a 1-to-1. So anything above 50 is good. Let me go back to the charts, make sure we're not missing anything. All right, we currently have a sell signal right here, but we need price to come down below this area for us to have an entry for a momentum scalp. I'm just going to go and update the stats over here a little bit. This is for breakout V2. So you can see the breakout V2 actually had a lot more data. So the more data, the better, of course. It's going to help with identifying proper numbers here. So the breakout V2 is also a one-to-one strategy. It's currently at 55% win rate. This is from August 14th up until October 4th. So about like 2 months of data right here. You can see that it's still in positive. So not horrible. Anything above 50 is really going to be decent because, you know, a lot of people there, like there's a lot of people out there that will never get close to that. As per documented trades. Because it's different when you backtest. When you backtest, you kind of nitpick which ones you want to document. And then when you're forward testing, you can't nitpick because it's all done live. So you can't like say, oh, I'm going to skip this entry because there was news, or I'm going to skip this entry because the candles were crazy. Like, no, you got to document every single trade. Momentum counter scalp's doing a lot better. It's currently at 81%. So, I mean, overall, the strategies are fine. But it looks like we might have to knock off the high-level momentum scalp on open if it doesn't pick up. So we'll see if it picks up. If it doesn't pick up, it's not looking that great for this type of season that we're currently in. We might have to save this for like the summer. Yeah, I agree with you too, Daniel. So Daniel said he thinks the 1030 works better, and I agree with you too. That's why I created that split, because I did a lot of testing and I was like, okay, where does it typically hit almost every time without it having to pull back? And I think the 1030 does work well. It works well with the V1 variation too. Like I've been trying to make these strategies one-to-one, but it's very difficult to make them one-to-one, especially when the seasons change because they don't work as well. So yeah, I agree with you too, Daniel. So that's why for these here, the ones that we're testing, I added on open because it's not the actual strategy. If you follow the actual strategy, it's pretty high, like with the win rate. Same with the intraday scalp, same thing. If you're just doing a 1030 split and you just focus on quality entries, then you should be good. Let's see. Yeah, Michael said 663 entries today, 83% win rate, 1.3% profit on overall capital. Yeah, no, definitely, Michael. And I hope it continues to do well for you. You know, the thing with you that you're applying that strategy is that you're just going to make it better. You know, it's all trial and error. So what I would recommend is to document. Well, I mean, it's going to be pretty impossible for you to document those trades, Michael. Michael's taking like 663 trades today. Yeah, so what you're doing is like, it's what's considered high frequency trading, right? So you probably wouldn't be able to do that with a funding company. There's no way they'll let you do that with a funding company. So you'd have to use your own capital. Like for us, we scalp, but we're not high frequency. We're just taking like one or two trades a day. We're not taking like 100 trades. I mean, on your end, you're taking like 600 trades. That's pretty crazy. Yeah, so I'm assuming, I'm assuming you're taking like a really small lot size, because that makes sense. If you're taking like a, you know, a penny lot and you're taking a bunch of little entries. Oh shit. Eric, Michael said he's trading on the 10-second chart. Yeah, no, that's crazy. Yeah, that for sure. Doing everything I've researched to be wrong. I mean, if it works, Michael. So the thing with you is like us, a lot of people don't like the way I trade because I trade a negative risk reward, but I have a high win rate, right? So a lot of people hate on the way we trade, but we're profitable, and I have everything documented. So, you know, what I'd recommend, Michael, is don't ever let anybody tell you that your strategy is not good or that your strategy won't work, right? I mean, it works for you. So if it works, then continue doing it. You just got to keep improving it every day. Yeah, because if I listen to people telling me that scalping didn't work, you know how many people said scalping doesn't work? It's crazy. And then I have all of my documentation here of every trade that I've taken. So I'm pretty sure it works, but a lot of people don't like to believe that scalping is profitable. I mean, I do it every day. So yeah, Anyways, we're looking for the entry right here, guys. Okay, so we need price to drop down a little bit lower. It's kind of too high right here. I need price to drop down a little lower to this area because the high point from right here is this sell signal. So the sell signal is already past this black line. So I need price to come down a little bit lower, retrace up, and provide entry from there. The only big problem here is that we have news coming up right here at 7:30. So the news here, we need this entry to come up ASAP, because if it doesn't, we have news coming up here super quick. All right, so if you guys want to take this entry right here, it's going to be at this next level, which is at the 10 mark. If it closes green. So if we get a green candle right here, the entry will happen right here at the 10 mark. If it doesn't close green, you have to wait for the green candle to close. All right, so we're seeing how this candle here closes. It has about 20 seconds left on it, but there is news coming up right here. So just keep that in mind, guys. There's news at 7:30, but there's about 6 minutes from now until then. So you might be able to still take this, and it'll probably still hit before it reaches, 7:30. So the entry point would be right there at the 10 mark, guys, if it closes green. So entry would have happened right there if you guys decided to take it. Looks like it's coming down. It's right at TP. All right, I close it out manually, guys. I don't want to risk it because I don't want to hold on to it for too long. I didn't necessarily hit it fully, but it got really close to it. On mine, it was pretty close. Let me see, it closed out at 1,620. So I got some slippage right there. I think I just got in at a better entry because I got in when it pulled up to this point. So I actually got in like right there. So when it pulled back right there, I entered for the sell and I just closed out manually when it came down because it hit my TP on FTMO, but didn't close me out. I just got it for a quick 100 pips for the momentum pullback scalp. For this right here, you just got to be really quick because like I mentioned, the news is coming up right here at 7:30. So you don't want to be stuck holding on to that position as it gets closer and closer to the news, because once that happens, you're going to start to see some pre-news like volatility movement here. I mean, it's probably going to come back down further, but like I mentioned, this is not a good area to trade in as you get closer and closer to news. It's 6:26 right now. So the we have about like 4 minutes up until news event. Let's see. Elijah said, I'm a beginner going to study your mentoring session and start from beginner to profitable. Yeah, no, definitely, Elijah. I'm glad to see that you're here. I'm here to help people who want to learn, right? If you guys want to learn and you guys want to be, if you guys really want to like take this trading thing seriously, I'm here to help. Like I provide so much free education and free mentoring and free everything, really. So here goes the momentum pullback scalp, guys. If you guys took it, it already went down to hit TP. But yeah, Elijah, if you're new here, just make sure to go to the website. So go to our website, kodikaitrades.com, click on unlock your free access to Kodi Kai Trades right now. Once you do that, you'll have access to the course. This is what the course looks like. It has pretty much every single strategy I've taught for the past 7 years. I've been trading live for over 7 years now. I've been trading with the group for over 10 years. And all my strategies here are listed. So if you want to look at them, feel free. And then if you go to the YouTube channel, I think you made a great point. You're going to look at the mentoring sessions, and I applaud you for like doing that because nobody will actually go and do that work. If you go to the mentoring sessions here, you guys can see I have about 200 mentoring sessions. In each session here, people are asking me questions. So it's like a one-on-one dialogue. So like basically any question that you probably have is asked in one of these sessions. I used to have these every week, but now I have them like every other week or every once a month. But if you ever want to have one, just let me know, and I'll set one up for you, or I'll set one up for the group for a Monday, because I'm always here to help, guys. Like me, I actually really enjoy trading. I think to be really good at trading, you have to really enjoy it. So for me, I really like trading, and I like helping people learn how to trade. The thing is, I just don't like doing it if people aren't there to learn, right? If you're asking me for signals, or you're asking me to copy my trades, that's like an insult basically. So I don't like helping people who ask for that stuff. But if you actually want to learn, And then yeah, I'm here to help. So sorry guys, I got a message over here on Telegram. So let me just document this trade real quick that I just took. This was for the momentum pullback scalp. So I just took one trade for today, nothing crazy, just this one trade. I'll take a screenshot of my profits. I'm going to look for another trade here. So you guys can see, it doesn't matter like when you guys took it, if you guys close out earlier, if you did it, it's still blasted right through the TP right there. So it's still laid out pretty perfect. So let me go over here real quick. Log into my social pair tools. All right, we got news coming up in about a minute, guys. So I'm just gotta sit tight. Wait for that news to pass. What the fuck? I don't know what happened to my TFF. My TFF gave me negative. I don't even know how that even happened. That's super annoying. TFF used to annoy me back in the day, and they're really annoying me today. Here, I'll show you guys my profits. Every other account gave me profit. The only account that gave me negative was TFF, which is super annoying. Even my personal account gave me a profit. So, like I mentioned over here, guys, let me just show you guys. I hate TFF. Sometimes I hate TFF. They haven't done this to me in a while, but this is like one thing that I hated that they used to do all the time. Okay, so here are my profits. For my funded engineer account locked in 750. Here is my FTMO locked in 560, 560 on my other FTMO, third FTMO 560. My third FTMO locked in 1,620. This is my funded engineer second account, 370. This is my personal account locked in at 225. And for whatever reason, my TFF gave me negative. I don't know what happened here. I don't know if their spreads are crazy or what. They haven't done this in a long time. But you can see every other account's positive except for TFF, which is super annoying. This used to be a big problem before, because before I would make like 3,000, 5,000 per account, and then they give me like a negative 1,000. Like, what the fuck? Yeah, I don't know if anybody else is having issues with TFF, but I'll have to figure it out. All right, maybe it was just that trade. I'm hoping it was just that trade because that hasn't happened in a while. And I'm hoping it doesn't continue to happen, because if that's the case, I can't use TFF with my copier. All right. Kip's not here. I was gonna ask Kip. Kip is like super big on TFF because Kip's like on the top leaderboard of TFF. So like every month, Kip is always like top 3 or top 10 on payouts for TFF. So that's why I started using TFF, but I mean, it is what it is. I got to figure out what I can do about that. Anyways, we'll look for another entry here. Hopefully like one more entry will let me recoup that on the TFF, but we'll see. Yeah, and the problem too with TFF is that like the problem with TFF is that the challenge that I got was the original one. So I don't have an unlimited trading time on it. So like, and they also have, there's just so many like red flags with TFF. They also have a lot size cap. So it's kind of annoying. Yeah, I know CJ said, I hope TFF isn't reverting back to their old ways. So what happened with TFF is I have a time limit to pass the challenge. And then also I'm on a 200K account. So I have to use a 100 lot because it's capped. So in order for me to pass the challenge with them, that's why I haven't gotten funded on TFF yet, because it's kind of impossible for me to reach that goal within the month time base, because it's a 200K account and I have to make what, 18% within that time period using a half lot size basically. So I don't know. I'll keep using TFF, but if like they if it continues to be an issue, I'm gonna have to like look for a different funding company to add on to the copier. So we'll see. Man, yeah, I'm really hoping they're not going back to the old ways. I think I had it even like, and we're not missing any trades, guys. So don't worry, we're not missing any trades here. Let me see if there is. Yeah, if you guys look, so these are like my profits back then. Like it's crazy. All my accounts would have like 1,300, 1,300, and then my TFF gave me like a negative 100. So like this isn't something new that's been happening with TFF. This is the reason I stopped using TFF. So you can see over here on these accounts, I made 2,000, 1,000, 2,000, 2,000. But look at my TFF, negative 600. It's crazy. And that was back in April of last year. So I'm hoping it's not the case, but I wouldn't be surprised if it is the case. We'll see. Yeah, Michael said, I don't understand that it's so much better with for the mental state having a high win rate. You don't doubt yourself as much having a 20% win rate. Yeah, exactly. I agree with you 100%. You know, with trading, a lot of it is trade psychology. So, you know, if you can handle a negative risk reward, then and you have a high win rate, then it's good for you. It's like free dopamine, right? Because you feel good when you win a trade. And I agree with you too, Michael, 100%. Like my brain isn't wired to be a loser. Like I've never wanted to lose at anything in life. So so yeah, I gravitate towards winning. So I have a high win rate. I gravitate towards that, and the negative risk reward does help me, you know, reach that goal. So yeah, I agree with you 100%, Michael. You know, I think win rate does have a big factor in like how people are successful trading, because there's no way that I could lose like 80% of my trades and then still be okay with trading. Like my mindset just doesn't work that way. All right, so price is starting to shift up, guys. If this is the case, this is fine. We can start looking for buys. We just need to see the pivots over here shift too. So what we need to happen here is we need this red pivot to be below all the other pivots, and we need the trend meter to turn green. If that's the case, then that's fine. We'll start looking for some buys as price climbs back up. If price comes back down, that's completely fine too, because if it corrects back down, we'll just start looking for some more sells, right? There's no difference here. We're just going to be looking for trades in either direction of the trend. So let's see, Michael's asking, how much pips do you pay in spread fees to be able to use that strat? I mean, the spread's the same way. It does make a difference, Michael, because you're still paying the same amount. I don't know if you're talking about commission, because commission is different from spread. Your spread's always the same. It doesn't change. The commissions are the same too. It depends on your lot size. So it's usually like 10% of your lot size. It's not a lot. I mean, it's not something that really like takes into effect. You know, I'm kind of curious now. Let me check the fee. I want to see what happened with the TFF. I think the TFF copier just copied late. Yeah, it just copied late, or the execution was extremely late. So it shows over here that, so I paid 32 in commissions, and then my entry happened at 32,908, but it pulled me out at 32,922, which is crazy. I don't know how that even happens. Because I was in profit when I pulled out. I think either the copier executed late or their account executed late. I mean, there's a lot of different factors here, but where I can't be stuck on that. I need to look for another entry here. Let's see. So CSUK and Daniel are talking about Quant Tower. Oh, dang, that's crazy. So I was just seeing that you guys, if you use Quant Tower, you can copy pretty much all your accounts. Well, I'll have to talk to CSUK about this. Yeah, I'll take a look at Quant Tower. I mean, if that's the case, I could trade different accounts on there too, like with Apex. The only reason that I'm still on MT4 is because of FTMO. Like if FTMO wasn't so great, I would move over to like Apex like everybody else. But I mean, FTMO has been good to me and they're still paying out, so fine with them. I don't know if anybody tried to, if anybody bought a challenge from MFF, you guys should probably call your bank to report fraud. You should do that and get your money back ASAP. If you bought a challenge at any time, like, because I think you could still charge back, like for MFF. You can still report fraud like up to like 2 to 3 months, depending on your bank. So if you guys bought an MFF challenge like in June, you should probably just report it to your bank because their website isn't even down. I mean, it's not even up. Like if you go to their website, it's not even there. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, that's what I meant, Patricia. Patricia said, she said, no, you can't say fraud, but you can say you didn't get the services. Yeah, which is exactly what it is, because you paid for the license to use their accounts, right? So yeah, because somebody in the group, I'm not gonna say who, because it's a funny story. Like there's somebody in the group that bought they bought a lot of challenges. They bought a lot of MFF challenges and they failed all of them. So they bought like maybe like 20 challenges, like almost like 20,000 in like MFF challenges, right? And they failed all those challenges. So they called me yesterday and they're like, hey Sean, like what do you think I'd get that money back? And I was like, yeah, you could, because the website's down and they have like the whole lawsuit going on. So he called his bank this week and he just reported all of the accounts as like he doesn't have the services. And this guy got 20K back, like just refunded back to his account. Because the thing is, he just showed them the website that like if you look up MFF, so you just look up MFF and look at TFF over here trying to like shark these fools. Like look at TFF says that it says beyond MFF. So you type in my forex funds, true FF here is just trying to like basically pull everybody who's from MFF. They're paying so much in marketing just to be like the first thing on here for their ads and saying beyond MFF, true forex funds. But anyways, if you Google this, the CFTC complaint will come up right here. Like you can literally report it and then you can send it to your bank and then they'll read this and like, okay, they're doing fraud. So you can do that and then they'll refund you. But I just want to give you guys a heads up because I know a lot of you guys did MFF and unfortunately you're like stuck without an account and you can't use them. You might as well just get your money back for the challenge. So yeah, that's crazy. This guy bought like, I think 20 challenges within like a 3-month period and he just failed all of them. I know you're in here probably, I'm not going to name you because I know it's funny, we laughed about it. He was like, I basically got a free, he basically said that he got a free try at funding for like 3 months, which I mean, basically that's what it was. They still owe me a payout, but it is what it is. I can't prove that because their website's down, no communication with them. Let's see. So Daniel said, gotcha. Daniel said to run it on parallel. Yeah, Barty said Quant Tower doesn't support Mac, but he said that we can run it on parallel. You know, I heard a lot of bad things about parallel, but I mean, yeah, you're running the M2 chip Mac, so maybe it'll work good on mine too. Yeah, Maddie said he wouldn't trust parallel. I mean, if anything, I'll just buy like a gaming laptop or something or a gaming computer, and then I'll just run Quant Tower on there. Because that's what I was doing before. I had my laptop right here on my left side, and I was entering trades on my Top Step. And that just reminds me, I have to use my Top Step. I haven't used my Top Step in like maybe like 2 months, and they just charge me. So I gotta get back to yellowing that account. Actually, that reminds me, I should just open it up now. Yeah, my top step just charged me again for another month. So the thing is, guys, I like Top Step, but my copier doesn't work with Top Step, so that's like the downside to them. But they are good. So if you guys do want to use Top Step, they're still good. It's just that they don't support a copier, so it's kind of pointless for me personally to use them because a majority of my accounts are on the copier. No, it's good to hear, Daniel. If it works well with you, then keep using it, right? If there's any issues, then yeah, I think you're right. It's due to the processor because a lot of older computers try to run parallels and it doesn't work well because it requires a lot of you're basically running two computers on one computer, so you need to have like the power behind it. So yeah, I agree with you too, Daniel. But no, I don't know. If I ever use Quantara, I'll let you guys know. But it sounds cool because CSUP has like 28 accounts on there. I mean, Maddie has a bunch of accounts too. If you ever see Maddie's profits, he's not on Quantara, but he is trading multiple accounts as well. All right, here's some profits for the day. We have Barty here, total profit of 7,683 for the day. Nice work, Barty. We have Kip here, total profit of 9,263, all wins. We have Barty's earlier profits, 4,000. He's holding these as a runner. And then we have Vince over here with a total profit of 380 for the day. So you guys saw my profits. I made 750 on my funded engineer, 560 across my FTMOs, 1,620 on my 200K account, 370 on my funded engineer number 2, 225 on my personal, and negative on my TFF. Unfortunately, I'm still looking for an entry here, guys. So we're not done just yet. We'll see if let's see what happens. Let's see. Ross said that TFF brays out when he enters a trade. What does that mean, Ross? Like, so does it just are you're trading it as your main, right? Or is it just yeah, because I'm curious, like if there's something wrong with TFF, maybe I should just take it off my copier for today. It's kind of weird. It was super off by like the entry too, entry and exit. Okay, gotcha. Yeah, so Ross said that when he enters it on the DOM, it goes gray and it enters way late. Yeah, I'm not sure. So did you get did you take a trade today, Patricia, on your TFF? I'm just curious because I'm having issues and Ross is having issues. I wanted to ask Kip, but Kip's not on here right now. Actually, Kip's not even using it anymore. He's using his other thing. Okay, gotcha. Are you using it as your copier, Patricia, or are you using it as your main account? Because that might be the thing too. It's probably because I'm using it as a copier. Gotcha. Okay, you're using it as your main. So I think for me, it's just the execution time on my copier then. Gotcha. Okay. No, it's good to know. Yeah, that's kind of what I figured too, because that's what Kip was telling me. He said that you just have to use it as your main. So it looks like different people are having issues. It looks like iPhone over here said, hell no, Sean, the damn server is freezing. Yeah, so it looks like it's freezing for Ross. It's also freezing for iPhone. I think iPhone is Martha, right? Sorry, I just never know who iPhone is. There's so many iPhones in here. I'm assuming it's Martha. But yeah, it looks like Ross and iPhone are both having server issues with TFF. I don't even know how many servers are with TFF. Are there multiple servers or is there just one? Yeah, I'm not sure. There's just one server. That's weird. Yeah, it seems like everybody's kind of having different issues. Ross is having issues. It seems like Ross is having delay on his too, where the server is freezing. Andrew said that he can't enter trades on his MT5. Which broker are you using, Andrew? Are you using TFF too? Man, it looks like everybody's having issues today. I mean, that's a sign of just to wrap it up. We'll see. All right, so we have a possible momentum pullback scalp coming up right here. Thanks, Dan, for the heads up. Measure this real quick. It's a little overextended, but we'll see if we can find something here. Oh, weird. Yeah, so Andrew's having issues with his FTMO. Yeah, Dan said or not. Yeah, not yet. So the thing here that I would be careful about, guys, is that it's getting close to, I mean, it is overextended at this moment. So you might want to be, if you feel comfortable about it, then you don't take a trade, but I would actively watch it because it is a bit overextended. You can see prices starting to kind of spike up a little bit because it's retracing. So the entry will probably happen right here at the 90 mark. So we got about 30 seconds left on here. Kevin said he caught the high low momentum scalp. Yeah, there was one up here, guys. So there's a higher high, sell signal broken close past the pivots right there. And Kevin caught it for a nice win right there. 1030 split. Personally, I would stick to the 1030 split for now, guys. I mean, you could even probably do 1025, but the original TP stop loss seems like it's still working perfectly fine. And that's probably going to be better as long as you just stay focused on like the quality entries. All right, so the entry would happen right here at the 90, guys, if you guys are, or maybe even below it. Now it looks like the 90. So yeah, if you guys are looking to take this entry here, it would happen at that 90 mark. So we'll see right there if price ends up, coming back down from where it's at. I was trying to look to see if I can get in. Let me see if I can maybe put a self stop there. I didn't get into the position. I was trying to wait for it to pull back a little bit. Maybe I should have got in for a discount, but it's okay. I'm still not in the position yet. Just following it right now, guys. So if you guys wanted to take the momentum pullback scalp, it's right here. I put a sell stop right there to catch it as it comes back down. I should get in for a discount, but I'm not going to. Just gonna watch it. Yeah, because the thing that I was most worried about was the overextension. You can see that price is pulling back and retracing right now. This is what I didn't want to get caught in. That's why I was kind of worried about taking the entry just right away. Wait for it to pull back a little bit. And if it comes back down, which it probably will, I have a pending order waiting right here. So if it comes back down, it's going to fill my order and then it'll just come back down to CP. So sometimes it's better to do it that way, especially if you're worried about the pullback, because there's just a lot of uncertainty with the market this week for NFP, and there's just a lot of stuff going on, obviously behind the scenes. So let's see. Still hasn't filled me yet. Just watching and waiting. It's 7:51 right now too, so it's kind of close to it's getting close to 8 o'clock. Still hasn't filled my order, guys. I have a pending order just waiting right here. I'll just move this over so you guys know. So if it goes up any higher, I'm just gonna cancel it. Yeah, so I'm just gonna cancel my order. I had a pending order right here waiting to fill it. As I mentioned earlier, guys, the thing that I was worried about this entry was because it was overextended. I measured it from here down to here. If it gets past 1,000 pips, so this is the overextension mark for me, 1,000, right? Price was way down here already. So I mentioned price is probably going to retrace up. So what happened was candle close right here. This right here was the entry point. And what happened was price pulled up. And then as it pulled up right here, I put my pending order right here. So if it came back down, it would fill it and I would go straight to TP. But it never came back down at this point. So I just canceled it. I never took the position. Nothing there for me. So I didn't end up getting into the position, and I just canceled my pending order. Let's see. All right, other than that, let's see if there's anything else here. All right, I don't really see anything coming up here, guys. It's 7:52 right now, so it's getting close to 8 o'clock. I don't think there's going to be another entry from now until then, because we'll need to get another buy signal in order for this setup here to basically play out. And I'm not expecting that to happen from now until 8. So if there's any other questions, guys, feel free to put them in the chat. Otherwise, I'm going to wrap it up for the day. I'm not really looking to take anything else. It's just the way that the market was moving today, very unusual. Plus, this overextension here kind of messed with our entry. because it was just too far down. So guys, again, a reminder, if you're looking for an entry and you want to make sure it's not overextended, just use a price tool. Use a price tool, go to the nearest high, and then make sure it's not more than 1,000. If it's more than 1,000, it's pretty much overextended. You can see right here, price retraced up, right? And look how it's coming back down. It's because this right here was the retracement. So yeah. Other than that, guys, we just took one trade today. So one trade today, had one win. Unfortunately, my TFF gave me a loss. You know, it happens. Other than that, we have some more profits over here. So we got Maddie, total profit of 120 per account. So Maddie's up about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, about 600 for the day, maybe 700. We have Barty over here, total profit of 9,648 for the day. Nice work right there, Barty. And I think that's about it. If you guys have more profits to send in, you know, feel free to send them in. Otherwise, that is about it. So, all right, guys, other than that, I'll see you guys back here tomorrow. If you guys have questions, feel free to reach